Hi, fellow amateurs. This is Ed, W8TCZ from the Radio Amateur channel here on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Back in 1973, when I was in junior high, we had what were called mini courses. And I had signed up for a course that was called Ham Radio, which was taught by our gym teacher, Gary Nissen. And we ended up having about 25 people in the class. And he taught us Morse code, and we would have practice sessions receiving. And I still have some of the papers that I copied that on. And he also taught us the rules and regulations and the theory for the novice class license. And at one point, he brought in his rig and he demonstrated some HF sideband for us. And I thought that was so fascinating. At the time, I didn't have any way of practicing sending Morse code because I didn't have an oscillator. So I asked my teacher, Gary Nissen, who was the gym teacher, if he could help me with something. And he said, well, you can use a buzzer. So he drew up a little schematic how to set it all up. And I went out with my dad sometime later to the hardware store, and we bought a buzzer and battery and all the other parts we needed and mounted that onto a piece of board. And that's how I learned my Morse code. After our school year was over, I decided I was going to take the novice test. I'd been studying with the ARRL license manual for quite a long time since the class we had. And after school in early June, Gary Nissen, my Elmer, came over and he gave me the code test and he gave me the written test on the picnic table out in our backyard. And I passed it and got licensed in late June, and that became a wonderful adventure from then on. So in June of 1974, I received my novice license, and I had to decide what I was going to do for a station and what rigs I was going to get. And I had talked to my teacher, and he said he knew somebody who had a novice station they were selling. So I visited with the person and took a look at it, thought it looked pretty nice. It was fairly new. At that time, a novice license only lasted 2 years, so this person had only been a novice. So I ended up purchasing that, and my first station was a Heathkit DX60B transmitter, the matching HR10B receiver, and the HG10B VFO. So once I got all my station together, I ended up putting up a dipole, and I had tried a number of times to make a contact, but hadn't made a contact. And at that time, the novice bands were pretty packed. I mean, you were almost on top of another person, if not, sometimes people were on top of you transmitting. But anyway, my first CQ I put out that I actually got a callback was with a station in Wisconsin in Racine. So that was my first contact. I was a little nervous, and copy was so-so. I still have the paper that I copied that on. And from then on, I fell in love with CW. After my first CW contact, I really started taking a liking to CW and 80 meters. And at that time, there were quite a few novices, and the bands were just packed, and sometimes you were right on top of each other. And but a lot of times I would stay up late at night so that I could try to work some DX, other states like Florida and California, which as a novice were kind of exciting to work. And so I worked Florida at one point, and then shortly after California, which I thought was really exciting. And then one night I was on 80 meters, and I called CQ, and a person in Puerto Rico came back to me on 80 meters. So quite exciting, and I really enjoyed CW and 80 meters quite a lot all my life as a amateur radio operator, as a ham. So anyway, it's been a great hobby, and I wouldn't give it up for anything. It's been something that I've always enjoyed. So that's my story of how I got into amateur radio. And I just want to encourage younger people. It's really been a great hobby, and I got in, like I said, when I was younger, around 13 years old, and I've been a ham ever since, and don't regret it. A lot of different facets of it. I have done traffic handling, emergency communications. As a matter of fact, back when I was in high school, the Johnstown flood was in the late 70s, and I helped out with that. I also like DXing, contesting, and VHF, UHF contesting. I did some packet radio at one time, satellites, amateur television. There's so many different facets, that you can get into. So I would encourage you, especially if you're younger, because it'll be a great hobby throughout your life. And I don't think you would regret it getting into it. So I want to thank everyone for coming to the channel, and wish you the best, and take care. Like and subscribe, and I will see you at a later date. Take care. Bye.